Alright, so this is the front wheel. Let me double check the rim strip real fast. Double check my rim strip. Everything looks good on the rim strip so far. Yep, rim strip looks pretty good. Okay, rim strip looks good. Where's my new tire? Here's my new tire. Let's see. I don't think this thing has a direction. Let me double check, make sure it doesn't have a direction. I don't see nothing on this side. Look at this side. Sometimes the direction arrow is only on one side and not the other. So this thing has no directions on it. So that's good. So it doesn't matter. You know, non-directional. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's non-directional. Okay, so I just put it in like so then. Let me squirt some soapy water on there. Always squirt soapy water. That's what makes your life easy. Okay, now I'm gonna put this on. And usually, when I put it on, I don't usually use the rim protector, because when you take it off, when you're taking it off, you're like this, right? The rim's right here. You're like this, and when you pry open this, so this part right here, prying like this, down right here, this is what mars your rim, right? But when you put it on, you're actually going in like so, and the tire is out here, and when you do this, everything's like on the inside, so it doesn't really, you know, you can't see it basically. It does mar the rim a little bit, but you really can't see it. So I'm okay with that. Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna, god dang it, really? I just scratched the freaking rim on the concrete right there. Damn it. No, it's not too. I don't. Yeah, you know what I do. I could feel it. Just very slight scratch. I should have put a little rubber mat right there. I usually have a rubber mat on here, but it's all wet. Let me go get a rubber mat. Rubber mat right here. So, okay. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually pushing one side of the rim on as much as I can into the tire. This will make my life easier. Alright, so this side over here is already mostly inside the tire already. Now I'll just oops, what am I doing? I'm on the wrong side. Down this side. So a lot of it's already in the tire already. So I'm good there. So let me put this in here, like so. Sometimes I think to myself, I'm like, man, I should have bought a tire machine, but man, those things are so expensive. They're like, a tire machine is like thousands of dollars. And you know, you have, you know, for an individual, it's not really economical to do that. You know, you should have a shop to buy a tire machine would make it, you know, it would make it viable, economically viable. But at the same time, I've changed so many tires that I thought to myself, man, if I had bought one, you know, 20 years ago, it might have paid for itself now, possibly. But you know, I wasn't thinking that 20 years ago, and I didn't have the money to spend thousands of dollars on a freaking tire machine 20 years ago. Right? I didn't have that extra coin laying around. And when you're younger, you got less cash compared to when you're older. But when you're older, you got less time. I think time is more important than cash. Because time is, you know, time is time. You can't make more of it. Come on. Okay, almost right there. I see that last speed. Come on, pop in right there. Okay, it went in. Oof. See, this is a little bit easier than a tubeless. That would have been more work right there. Okay, so that was it. So far, everything I've done is pretty much easy. So the next step is going to be the hard step right there. Let's see what's my valve hole at. Valve hole, no. Where's the valve hole over here? The valve hole's right here. Get my tire back in. Let me deflate this a little bit. I should deflate it more, but I'm going to use the inflation right here to help push it, get the tube out of the way. Because if your tube is completely deflated, it's very hard to tuck the tube all the way into the tire. So I'm going to tuck the tube in as far as I can. Then remove the valve core to deflate it. Let's see, should I put this stem in first? No, I'm going to stick the tube in first. That's still a little bit too inflated. Let me reduce it down a little bit more, make it a little bit easier on myself. A little bit more. That's good enough. Okay. So now I'm going to line up my stem as much as I can. Sometimes it's just easier to spin the whole entire wheel, or the whole tire, I should say, whole tire on the rim. So I think that's pretty good in there. Take out the valve core. Okay, my valve core is lined up with my valve hole. Right. Put this in so I can have proper valve is in. I'll put my nut on there so that way the valve doesn't slip out. And make sure that it's nice and straight. You know, it's nice and square. It's a tangent, basically, right? Tangent to the circumference or the radius of the tire. So right now, right here, the tube is still sticking out. That's not good. You don't want that. You know, you want to make sure that you tuck the tube. So here's the rim, here's the tire, like so. Or it's like this actually. The tube in here, you want to make sure that the tube is in the tire, sitting in the tire, so that way it won't get punctured, or less likely to get punctured when you put this in. So I want to make sure it's all the way in there. Okay, I think it's all the way in. So I'm pushing it in there, making sure that's all the way in, all nice and tucked in there. Okay. So valve core's over here. I'm going to start on the opposite end because if I start over here, because of the valve core, it's kind of bulky, so it's in the way. So when I feed the bead in, it's kind of in the way, so it gives me less slack. So I do it on the opposite side, so that way I have a little bit more slack, more room, and I work my way to the valve stem. So that's probably the easiest way, I think. Right, so some more soapy water. Soapy water, that's the secret right there. Lube is the secret. That's what makes it go in nice and easy. You can never have too much lube. Right, lube it up. So when you do this and you hook this in, where the rim is like so, and you go like this and you hook it in, make sure that it's only the rim and not the tube, because sometimes the tube's right there. And you do that, and let's say my fingers are here as a tube. Sometimes you do this, and it will actually hook on the tube, and it will actually grab the tube. Oops! It will go in and it grabs the tube, and it actually pinches the tube, and that's how you puncture the tube. So be very careful when you do this. I'm actually even sticking my finger down in there, so make sure that the tube is not in the way. Be very mindful of that. Otherwise, you will, mess up your tube. You gotta do it all over again. That sucks. That's one of the reasons why I hate tubes. Tubes tube just sucks, period. Only reason tube is good is because, you know, you're using a spoke wheel, and the spoke wheel is stronger radially stronger than like a cast wheel, but laterally spoke wheel is actually pretty weak. So got both sides in right there. So work my way out, or around I should say. And when I do this, I'm actually if I push in right here, I can actually feel the tube. So I'm pushing the tube inwards more, and I pull it back to clear the tube. And I do it like so. Then that should you know, that should do it. Put the tube right there, pull it back, so it clears the tube. So yeah, it's cleared. So I'm gonna stick my foot right here so I don't lose the speed right here. Same thing with this side. I fill the tube, push it in, pull this thing back so it clears the tube, like so. Push it in, back, clears the tube. I'm doing this very, gently. I do not want to catch that tube and pinch that tube. That's a big no-no. You know, damaging that tube. You'll be making more work for yourself than need be. The hard part here at the very end. You have to be very careful. Hopefully I don't catch it, you know, catch a tube. I don't think I did, but you never know. Alright, so you're getting near the end. It's a lot of bead here now. Now you need to give yourself some slack. So push the bead here into that center of the rim where the radius is smaller, or the diameter is smaller. So it gives you more slack here. So it's easier for you, and hopefully less likely to pinch a tube. So here's my valve stem. I'm getting closer. Remember, we have to work our way to the valve stem. Side so that it doesn't lift the rim up. Okay. Alright, so we're not done yet. Other thing you have to do now, you have to check for the tube. So push down on this side, look down here to look for the tube. If you see the tube sticking out, that means you screwed up. Chances are you might have pinched the tube as well. So let me do that. Look all the way around. I don't see the tube at all. That tells me the tube is actually sitting deeper in the tire instead of being out closer to the rim. All right, so my stem is still pretty close to tangent. It's not 100%. It's not completely. It's not really tangent. Not almost tangent. So I'm gonna spin it a little bit. You know, spin the rim and the tire back and forth a little bit to get that tube to be that stem to be tangent. And that's what I want. Right there. Okay, that looks pretty tangent to me. Here's the center, the axle. You know, it's not tangent. Right there. Right there. I think. Here's the axle. Yeah, that's pretty tangent. Close enough for me now, I think. Anyways, so that's good there. You might even want to check that on the back side if you see the tube at all either. And I don't, so I'm good. Okay, I'm good. So that's it. That's how you mount the tire. Now I need to just put my valve coil back in and pump it up. And the good thing about with a tube, is that you don't have to worry about seating the bead, or setting and seating the bead. All I have to do is just pump it up, and you're good to go. So so I'm not going to show you guys that because you know you don't need to see that. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching.